Today we're going to do some long division using the standard algorithm, and I like to start out asking students this very important question: do monkeys sniff brown rats? And this acronym helps me to remember the steps that I'm going to use to do my dividing. Divide, multiply, then subtract, then bring my next number down, and then either redo all my steps or maybe I have a remainder. So you'll notice that I have some base 10 blocks here for my 64. So I've got 6 tens or 6 longs and then 4 ones. Now this 64 is my dividend, and then my 5 is my divisor. So I'm going to pretend that I've got 64 cookies and I'm going to divide them into 5 different groups. So I start out with my first step, which is to divide, and I ask myself, how many times can I divide 5 into 6? Now that 6 really means 64. But for now, I just want to think of it as a 6, even though it means 6 tenths. Well, how many times does 5 divide into 6? Or 6 divided by 5 is 1. So check, I just did my first step. And I will demonstrate all of this with these base 10 blocks after we get through the first couple of steps. So now I am at my M. I'm going to multiply it out. Well, this 1 is in the tens spot, and I'm going to have another digit in my answer too, in my quotient, when I'm all finished. But for now, this 1 means 10, and 10 times 5 equals 5. So I'm multiplying it out. Check, I just did my second step. And the reason I multiply it out is because eventually I'm going to subtract it out, and I need to know how much to subtract out. Well, 110, 10 times 5 is 50. So now I'm going to subtract that 50 out of there and see what I have left over. Well, I know that 6 tens minus 5 tens leaves me 110. So check, I just subtracted. And now let's look at our base 10 blocks and let's show what we've done so far. I've got my 6 tens and my 4 ones. Well, as you'll see, I'm not doing anything with my 4 ones yet. I'm just looking at these tens. So look at these tens, and now I'm going to divide those 6 tens, or the 60, into 5 groups. So let's go ahead and pull them into 5 groups. 1 group, 2 groups. Now I've got my third group of 10, my fourth group of 10, and my fifth group of 10. Well, what am I going to do with this 10 here? Because look at, he's left over here. 6 tens minus 5 tens leaves me 110. And here it is. Here's my 110. Well, if I put him here, it's not even. Because remember, whenever we divide, it's got to be equally. Doesn't work there. I can't put it in any of these groups. So I'm just going to leave him up here. So then I can now move on to my next step, which is to bring these ones down. So I'm going to pull my 4 down. Just like my base 10 blocks, what I'm left with is 110 and 4 ones. And here it is. 110 and 4 ones. And now, check, I just brought it down. So now I am down to my R, which is my remainder or redo. How do I know if this is my remainder? Well, I just brought a number down. And as soon as I bring a number down, then that means my next step is going to be divide. So I'm going to redo all my steps. The other reason I know it's not my remainder is because 14 is bigger than my divisor of 5. I can still pull 5s out of my 14, so that cannot be my remainder. So that means I'm back up to my very first step, which is to divide. A lot of times when I've just brought my 4 down, when students bring their next number down, they get confused. I know I'm supposed to divide, but I'm not sure how I do it. So one trick that I really like to show students is to draw the division symbol over that new number now, just so that I know now that I'm going to divide 5 into that number. So how many 5s can I pull out of 14? Well, when I skip count by 5s, I know that 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, so 5 times 2 is getting me close. 5 times 3 is 15, so that's too much. So I go back to my 2, so I know that 14 divided by 5 is 2. And I put my 2 over my 1's place, And check, I just divided a second time. And I'm going to go ahead and multiply it out now. So 2 times 5 is 10. And I write my 10 right below. So check, I just did that step again. And now I'm going to pull it out. So 2 times 5 is 10. So now I'm going to go ahead, because I divided it up, I now need to pull it out. And I know that 14 minus 10 leaves me 4. So now go back over to our base 10 blocks. You'll notice that I changed it out. This used to be a long here, which means 10, and I went ahead and changed it out to 10 ones just so that I could evenly divide them out into my 5 groups. So this is 110 here plus 4. So this is 14, and this is where I had 14. I divided it by 5. So I'm going to take these out into 5 groups, and we should find out that I could put 2 in each group. So let's do it. And as you can see, I was able to take some of those 14 cookies and evenly divide them into 5 groups. So 2 in this group, 2 in this group, 2 in this group, 2 in this group, and 2 in this group. So now, check, I just subtracted it out and I see what I have left. And so now I go to my B and I want to see, do I have anything to bring down? Well, there's nothing else to bring down. So could this number here be my remainder? Well, I think it is, because look it, I've got 4 here and I've got 4 here. 4 is smaller than my divisor, so that's a good sign. I have no more numbers to pull down, and so this is my remainder. So I would have students write an R here, and then that's my leftover. So I have 4 cookies left over that I could not put evenly into 5 groups. So 64 divided into 5 groups gives me 12, 110, and 2 ones into each group, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, and I have 4 cookies left over that I could not evenly divide up, and so I guess I'll give them to my dog as Scooby Snacks. I don't know. Thanks for joining me for long division standard algorithm. See you next time.